Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 13 of my daily conversation about the COVID-19 crisis. My name is Sree Sreenivasan, and I'm honored that you would all spend some time with me. We've been doing this for 13 days. It feels like a lot longer than that. And I've been doing these because it gives me a chance to learn and find out what's happening around the world. And it's really made a difference in my knowledge and also my comfort level about what's going on. I want to start by asking all of you who are watching to please share this with your friends and family around the world. We're live on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. You can share this with everybody by just hitting reshare or retweet or tagging specific friends who would benefit from a conversation all about small businesses and how we can help Main Street. We have a chance for you to post your comments and we'll bring them on screen. Here you go. You see my friend Jonathan Borstein is always here watching from the East Village, not that far away here in New York City. We'd like to hear where you're watching from, what you're doing, how you're feeling, because this is a global conversation for all of us. So thank you so much for being here with us. I really appreciate it. I also want to start by saying that I saw some terrible news today that I am still reeling from. My friend and a wonderful chef for the last 20 plus years in New York City, Floyd Cardoz, passed away. He ran Tabla and other amazing restaurants in New York, including Bread Bar and others. And this was the tweet I sent out. And I am still recovering. And part of the reason I want all of us to talk today is so that those of you who knew can share your comments. I have comments coming in that I'm going to share with you, including comments from restaurateurs like Danny Meyer and David Chang, who all knew him and loved Floyd. Some of you know him because he won Top Chef Masters, and he was also on David's show, Ugly Delicious, season 2 on Netflix. You can go see it right now and watch it or watch it later. Just a wonderful man. And I'm just so sorry that he has gone. He was young man. He was not even 60 and he has passed away. The last thing we exchanged with each other was comments about doing a social media and food event together. That's the photograph we shared. And he said, let's do it. Right away, he wrote back, let's do it. We'd already talked. We'd already met. That's when we took that photograph. And here we are today. Just absolutely shocking. It's been reported it's because of COVID-19. And that tells you that no one can be spared from this. No one is being spared from this. We woke up to the news of Prince Charles being infected and other folks. Our hearts go out to everyone who is watching, who has lost a loved one or who has loved ones who are sick. One of my dearest friends in New York was just diagnosed. He's getting better. I'm cheering for him. So this tells you where we are with this terrible disease. So please have your friends and our friends in mind as we talk about the topics today. We are sharing your comments live from Facebook. If you have any, just post them here. Let's see this global conversation. Ahamar is watching from Chennai, India, has been on lockdown. Incredibly, for 21 days, they just started. Natasha is watching from her shelter in place in Miami. Please stay safe. Jonathan says, my condolences. Steve Taylor watching from Philadelphia. Sorry about the loss of your friend. Thank you so much. Arlene is watching from her rent-stabilized apartment in Upper Manhattan and grieving the news of those who lost their lives during this time. My condolences. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And so sorry, Chef Floyd Cardoz, just heard about it. And Alicia Marie is watching from Michigan, and she said, so sorry to hear the news of your loss. So throughout the conversation, I will bring in some remarks about our friend Floyd that have been shared so that you all can hear them. We can share them. I also see my friend Diana has joined us from San Francisco. And that reminds me that as we talk about small business and helping Main Street today, we also have to salute our frontline healthcare workers, our doctors, nurses, orderlies, business side folks in hospitals who have been called to the front line. And Diana is part of the comms team in the San Mateo County Health System and has done an amazing job working nonstop for 3-4 weeks now. And we're just grateful that she has a moment here to be with us. And Diana, thank you for all you do. And everybody watching, we have a guest from Milan joining us, Maria Elena from Milan. Thank you, Maria. Yesterday, we had an entire episode that you can go back and see that was about Italy. And we had the wonderful Consul General of Italy send us a message that we read out loud. And he was thanking the great connections between Italy and New York City. And in that conversation, we met a doctor in Milan, we met journalists in Rome and Turin, and Gianni Riotta, who was in New York and a great Italian-American journalist. And we talked for a long time, and we ended the conversation by playing a great piece of music, Italian classical music. And several of you have wrote in that this conversation is uplifting for you. One of you was kind enough to say that this is a lifeline in the middle of everything else going on. And I can't tell you how touched I am by this, but I do it because I need this more than anyone else. So thank you for posting your comments. Please hit share right now so that your friends and family around the world can join us. Please tag your friends. And we really appreciate everyone who's tuning in. Please share your handle so that you can connect. We want this global family coming together as we see right here. And Maria says, thank you, Sree. And Arlene is sending me a virtual hug. All right, so now we're going to bring in our guests and talk to them right now. I am so grateful that they are here. They are folks who are working to do things about what's happening with small business in America. And we will also be hearing in a little while from the owner of a small business who's going to call in because he is doing all he can at this moment. And so just a reminder, you can find my session right now on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and also on LinkedIn. And if you subscribe on YouTube, you can get the entire archives, all 13 days. And no matter how long it takes, I'm going to do this if I don't get sick myself, as you can imagine. So here we are. We have 3 fabulous guests who have joined us, and I'm very, very grateful. First, let me say hi to the team from Feed the Frontlines NYC. Hello.
Hello. Hi.
We'll do it one at a time. Kate, wave. And Isabella, wave. Thank you both for being here. You can find them under Feed the Front NYC and Kate FDP on Twitter. And please meet the part of the team of Help Main Street. You're seeing Nihal Mehta on the screen. Nihal, thank you for being here. To all 3 of you, you've been friends for a very long time. And at this moment, just to see a friend means so much to me. And I really, really appreciate it. And it's great to have you. I'll just say hi to Stefan, who is just here. Stefan, I know you're going to bring in our friend, the pizzeria owner, in a little bit. He'll call and I'll hold him up to the screen. So thank you, Stefan. Good luck in Ramsey. Stay safe.
Okay. Do you have him on hold right now? Do you see him?
Is he here?
He should be in. There he is.
Okay. Dave, maybe we'll just start with you. Hi, Brian, right?
Yes.
Brian.
Yes, Brian Warren. Hi, how are you? Thank you for being here. We'll get back to our other guests in a minute. I know you have to go. You're calling in from your pizzeria. Please tell us your story.
All right. So about 2 weeks ago, I saw all the headlines in Italy. I'm sorry, there's a little background noise.
That's okay. Don't worry.
I saw all the horror stories from Italy where they were taking appropriate action, doing, having the quarantine in place. And that wasn't working, so they had to take another step where they actually had to go in, close all the bars, close all the restaurants and cafes. And I started to get a little nervous, so I called my brother. I said, wow, what happens if that happens here in America? Because it's on the way for sure. And he said, you know what? We better do something. We better be proactive in this. And I said, you know what? Why don't we just go across the street to our local bank? We already have an established credit line that we've used for renovations in the past. Why don't we just put 50 grand out, figuring on that we're probably going to need about $80,000 if we're shut down for 2 months just for payroll checks for our employees. And my brother Michael and I said, you know what? That makes sense. Let's do it. Let's put our extended family members first, so they're not in harm's way, so they'll still be able to make their rent. they'll still be able to pay their utilities, pay their car insurance, pay their car bills. So we felt that we were going to do the right thing by our staff, which some of the members of our staff, you may know, have been with me for 22 years, 19 years, two people for 15 years. My store manager started here when she was 14 years old. She's now been here for 12 years. So basically, I spend more time with these folks than my actual own family at home. So it's one big happy family here. And I told everybody, I made the commitment, we'll get through this together. No matter what happens, I have your back, and I'm going to make sure that you're able to put food on the table for your own family, even if it means that we're going to incur a little debt ourselves.
Thank you so much, Brian. Let's tell everybody the name of your restaurant, where it is, and how people can help you right now. Thank you for making this commitment to workers. It's something we desperately need to hear about. And tell us how we can help you. Where are you, first of all?
We are located in beautiful Belmar, New Jersey, which is in Monmouth County. We're a beachfront community. We have a lot of locals, but we get a major influx of summer traffic for people coming down to the Jersey Shore, either for day trips or week trips. Currently, right now, what we've been doing is when people call in, they want to make a contribution to help us, but we're not just receiving money for ourselves. We're actually taking donations and turning that into a positive thing, keeping my employees busy. And then we take that money and we allocate that money. For instance, we just had 30 pies just leave about 10 minutes ago to Monmouth Medical. And earlier today, we had 50 pies and some other catering items that got delivered to Jersey Shore, which is our two local medical centers right here in Monmouth County, New Jersey. But if people want to help, we also have it set up on our webpage where they can do a Venmo payment, and they can specify whether they want to help for the first responders or a donation. Some people have donated just to the employees general. You know
what? Is the website? What is the website?
It's www.federicosPizza.com. You know what? The outpouring of support. I've been getting calls from people from all over the country, as far as Germany was the furthest one, California, Colorado, Kentucky, Alabama, Arkansas. I spoke to somebody from Boca Raton, Florida, that used to be a local resident here, just wishing us well. And you know what? We're trying to take this negative time that we're having and trying to spread some joy. Friday's plan is we have a local testing site, which is about 45 minutes up the Garden State Parkway. It's the Monmouth County local testing site where they have New Jersey State Troopers, which my brother is a New Jersey State Trooper. We're going to feed those guys and also the medical staff that is up there administering the test. So we're going to get in contact with them and set something up for Friday afternoon for them.
You know, if I can just add something for a second, Brian.
Please.
I saw your story last night about midnight, and it grabbed me. It just touched me so much because I'm walking down Main Street here in Ramsey, New Jersey every day, taking a break, getting some fresh air, seeing all these small store businesses closed. And when I read the story that you took out a $50,000 loan to be able to do this for your employees, it just touched me in a way like nothing has. And I wanted to, when I told Sree about you, and I wanted to get you on here because your story, everybody needs to hear about it, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm very proactive, both my brother Michael and I. You know what? We can't wait for the federal government funds to come through. I got to make sure my guys get paid immediately because you know what? Their landlords aren't going to wait for the rents. Although I noticed, you know, a lot of landlords are. I have no idea what their relationship is with their landlords, but also, you know, utility bills, and forget about that. Just putting the essential products on the table for their families, toilet paper, water, groceries. They need it now. They can't wait for 2 months to get that money.
Thank you.
No,
Natasha
well,
says from Miami, she has amazing story. Thank you, Brian. I know I need to let you go back and ask, get your pizzas going, but Stefan,
Yeah, we
one
got
more
another
question?
order in about another hour, so we're prepping up for that right now.
Okay, so
well,
yeah, go ahead, Stefan.
No, I was going to say, I tweeted to Don Lemon, everybody last night, made sure everybody knows about you as much as I can. I'm going to continue to do so because you're one of these people that's in this defining moment in our lives right now that is stepping up to the plate and just doing what needs to be done. And I tell you, I applaud you for it. We all applaud you for it. And more than that, we all love you for it.
Yeah, could I just say one more thing though? It's so nice that so many people are coming out to support us, but I really encourage that if go support your local pizzeria,
Absolutely.
your local fine dining, your local favorite breakfast place. If their doors are still open, people
Right.
are just scared to go out. If their doors are
Yep.
still open, they may or may not offer a delivery service. Just give them a call.
Right.
And if their doors are open, please give them some business. They're going through the same things that all of Main Street's going through right now. We really, as a community, need to reach out and help those small businesses get through this harsh time.
And that is the bigger point, and you just nailed it. So, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Brian.
Thanks for having me on. I truly appreciate it.
We're so grateful. That's Brian Moran of Federico's Pizza. Please do go to his website, federicospizza.com. See what he's doing. If you're a small business owner and want to do something like this, we'll give you some more ideas on how you can be more proactive right now. But I want to salute him and every business owner who is stepping up and supporting their workers instead of just closing down if they have any choice at all. And especially as we hear in Washington, a lot of the conversation is about bailing out big companies, but we also need to support our small companies, our small businesses, and help Main Street. So Brian, thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you. Pleasure talking to you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Brian. We'll be in touch.
Well, thank you, Brian.
And to Stefan Kaplan at Spin It Social, great social media entrepreneur and doer and part of my team. I'm so grateful to you, Stefan, for everything you do. You're a small business person like me, and we are doing all we can to help as many people as we can. So I'm going to go bring in our other folks. Thank you, Stefan. And everyone, please share this story right now on Facebook. They can watch the archive on Twitter, anything that everybody can join us. This is recorded, so everyone can see that as well. Thank you very much. And I'll take you folks off. And let's bring on now Nihal and Kate and Isabella. And we'll start by asking Nihal to tell us about his really unusual initiative after telling us a little bit about his own background. First of all, where are you? Are you okay? Where are you? Just tell us that first, and then we'll continue.
Thanks, Sree, and thanks for the opportunity. We're actually in Long Island, so I don't know if you know, we had a kid. Actually, he's 2 months old today.
I know.
So here with our two boys. So Sean is 5, and then Sai is 2 months. So that's a handful on its own, especially the working from home challenges with kids. So you'll definitely hear some chaos in the background at some point.
That's great. We love the chaos. We love it.
Exactly. But we were lucky. We got out to Long Island about 10 days ago for his spring break, and we're just bunkered here for the foreseeable future. But yeah, we're all safe and sound. And
by your background, you're a great entrepreneur yourself, and you also help a lot of companies. You're an investor. But you have now decided to do something to help people, and I'm going to share the screen as you speak.
Great. My quick background, built 5 startups, starting in the late, almost 20 years ago. A bunch of them failed, which is, a important mark in our industry. And started investing off some of the successes about 15 years ago, and then formalized it into a fund, which I started with 3 friends from college. The fund is called. We've been investing now for about 10 years. We're in our 4th fund, about to flip over to the 5th fund. Made about 200 investments in early stage software companies. Now we have institutional LPs, investors. So, universities and pension funds and foundations are our investors. So that's my day job. My night job, besides being a dad, is as you know, we've been very active in the community in general. Myself and my wife, Reshma, who founded Girls Who Code, and
let's just give her a shout out. Great, not just a great mom, but also a wonderful entrepreneur and a great pillar of our Indian American community, Reshma Saujani, who's founder of Girls Who Code, which has changed the way the world thinks about young girls and their role in the engineering world. So thank you to her. And she's keeping the kids out of your hair for a few minutes, so that's good as well.
Actually, she's on another Zoom in the bedroom, and so right now I don't know what the kids are doing. We'll find out. Yeah, we'll find out after this. But and Reshma ran for office twice, and obviously you're familiar with the campaigns we ran for Congress in 2010, and then for public advocate in 2013, and so. I think that's when I started becoming more politically active in general about 10 years ago. And, one of the things I realized is that there's a pretty big gap in leveraging digital, specifically technology and politics, but then also in general activism. And, wherever we can donate our time, expertise, engineering resources, et cetera, to help fill gaps, we're going to always do. And so about a week ago last Wednesday, so 8 days ago, we actually had spent 2 all-nighters, myself and a team of about 6 people, to just very quickly stand up this website. It's called helpmainstreet.com. One of the things that we saw, one of the big problems that we saw, and we heard from the owner of Frederico's Pizza, is that small businesses are just getting decimated. Restaurants in particular that can't offer takeout, or even if they do offer takeout, their business is becoming significantly compressed. They still have the same bills to pay, payroll, rent, etc. How can we give them cash in their bank accounts immediately? And realized from looking around that, there's this concept of gift cards that many restaurants have, and they've signed up with their own gift card provider. Maybe it's Square, maybe it's Giftly, Gift Rocket. There's like dozens of these things. But there is not a one destination, kind of like a kayak for gift cards that aggregates them all. You can kind of go to your favorite place and see if they have a gift card on their website, but there wasn't a centralized website across the country that enabled folks to find gift cards and then give to their favorite, local business. And that was the inspiration. We said, let's just build it. Let's throw it up there. Let's create a crowdsource mechanism where anybody from around the world can add their favorite local business. If they have a gift card program, we will list it and drive traffic to it. And that was phase 1. We have almost 14,000 merchants now on the website. We've been really fortunate by some great press, Forbes, TechCrunch, Eater, Cranes, BuzzFeed, that has driven significant traffic to us over the past week. So, everybody please jump on helpmainstreet.com, type in your city, your zip code. Can we
just show them 1 second? I'm just going to go in here and just type in my zip code here, 10025.
Great.
And it says New York, New York. And then it'll just pull up on a list here below me. Right here, a list like this, the Smoke Jazz and Supper Club. These are great places. Lucky Pickle Dumpling, 5 Napkin Burger. And then you click in and you can buy a gift card, right? It's so easy.
That's right. And, just so you know, we haven't even created an entity for this. We're just passing traffic. So when you click buy a gift card, it's going to that merchant's gift card relationship that we've just aggregated. And so, the transaction then happens on the gift card website.
And we can just point out, you say that 100% of the proceeds are going to help the small businesses themselves and built by volunteers with Love in NYC. What a beautiful sentiment. Thank you for helping local businesses by buying gift cards to provide critical cash support. I want to tell you, Nihal, that on my very second call that we did, that was 10 days ago, we called it the helpful edition, and one of the suggestions was go down to your local food vendor and buy a gift card. And the feedback that came up is they don't know, many of them don't have it, or how do we find ours, etc. So while we were lamenting, you were doing, and you and your team, so kudos to you. And thank you for doing this, because this will help thousands. We say 14,000 merchants. So can you also tell me, if I'm not here, I have a business that has a gift card, what can I do?
Yep. So there's a big black button on the page. Don't see your favorite business. You can click it. You can add a business. Now, if you don't have a gift card, which the majority of businesses don't have, you can, right now we're just sending folks. We don't have a partnership with Square, but we're sending folks to Square. We think it's probably one of the easiest ways to set up a gift card for your business. And Square is dedicating a ton of resources right now in that workflow. So, and then once you have your gift card through Square or another provider, you can then list with us, and we'll hopefully, send traffic to your gift card. We're actually rolling out a version 2 later this week, where what we're seeing is a lot of local businesses now have their own GoFundMe pages, or their own donation pages, separate than a gift card. It's more like, hey, just support my business, right? And so now we're going to enable those types of buttons as well. So you can find your favorite business. If they have a GoFundMe, boom, there's just a donate button. And so you can just donate directly to the venue. And we want to aggregate every merchant essentially interface and tool to put cash in merchant bank accounts to help, make these local businesses, keep these local businesses solvent. But yeah, we're floored by the support. Last thing I wanted to say, a lot of mayors, offices, mayors have been reaching out. Chambers of commerces have been reaching out. We have somebody from Sioux City, Iowa, Chamber of Commerce reached out. Boulder, Colorado, Chamber of Commerce is up and running. This morning, the mayor of Hoboken, Mayor Ravi Bala, actually, they embraced this from the very beginning, and all of Hoboken is online, and he tweeted about it this morning. So,
excellent.
Mayor Mike Tubbs of Stockton, California. So, all over the country, and actually, we're also enabling this to be international. We've gotten a lot of interest from France and Spain and the UK, and so we're constantly adding more coverage to the site. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun to use some of our old computer science skills it's also a good excuse to channel our nervous anxiety into something productive. And that was our motivation, is what can we do to help, to do a very small part to help somebody out there. And yeah, we're thrilled about the success so far.
Thank you, Nihal. And everybody who's watching, someone just asked, repeat everything you just said. So instead, we're just going to say, go to @HelpMainStreet on Twitter, or go to helpmainstreet.com, and you can go in there and see what they have done. And if your business is not there, or your favorite business is not there, you can add it. And they just said big news that this is going to be international as well. It's going to be rolled out in a few days, I guess. And just so grateful to you, Nihal, for joining us. I hope you'll take some questions in a few minutes. And for everybody watching, please go to helpmainstreet.com, and please follow @HelpMainStreet. And Nihal, if you haven't had a chance to tweet about what we're doing here, please tweet it and share it so that everybody can join and see what an amazing job that you have done. We are very grateful to you, Nihal. Thank you. And we're now going to bring in our other guests here. We have Kate and Isabella de Pietro, who I have known for a long time. Isabella as a much younger person, but here is Kate. Kate's a journalist and writer in New York. Why don't you tell us your story? Where are you? How are you? And then what you're doing to change and help people.
Hi, thank you, Sree. Thanks so much for inviting us, and thank you to your other guests today and for their inspiration and generosity, which is just so heartwarming at this really unsettling time. We're talking to you from our apartment on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. I didn't expect Isabella to be here this time of year because she's a senior at Harvard University, and she certainly didn't expect to be here either. So there's been a lot of disruption. Isabella's sitting next to me. My son, who's 19, who's a freshman at Williams College, is in another room. And we're here and talking today because my husband, Luca Di Pietro, owns the Terra Lucia Vino restaurant group here in New York City. We have five restaurants.
Italian restaurants, not a chain, 5 restaurants, we'd always say about that. And just delicious Italian cooking on the Upper West Side, at Union Square, on the Lower East Side, at Cooper Hewitt Museum. Just an amazing collection, and in Nomad, right? Like, those are the 5 restaurants. Absolutely wonderful experience if you can go there. Terra Lucia Vino, and let's pick up the story there. And by the way, just want to say, and we can have an argument with Nihal, what is harder, having 5-year-olds or 19 and 20-year-olds at home when they're not, during this lockdown? So we'll have that kind of bake-off later. But go ahead and please pick up the story. And just a reminder to everyone who's watching, please hit share so you can hear these wonderful ideas and more people can join us. Tag your friends. And I'll just once again share their contact information at Kate FDP on Twitter and at Feed the Front NYC on Twitter. So please follow them, support them. So easy for you to do that right now. And on to Kate with the story.
Okay, thank you. So I think, as many of your viewers will already know, that last Monday, March 16th, in New York State, all restaurants were required to close their doors to clients who wanted to come in to dine there, to protect the public from the further spread of the virus, which was obviously, necessary and but also incredibly harmful to the business. Luca owns 5 places that you just named and has had to shutter 4 out of the 5. Last Monday, he had to lay off 95 of his 102 employees, which was heartbreaking for him, and obviously really just, really difficult for everybody looking ahead to how to pay the rent, how to pay their bills, how to take care of their families, which is a common experience now certainly for people who are in the restaurant business, but for a lot of other businesses and small businesses are being harmed, I think, particularly acutely immediately. The next day, which was last Tuesday on St. Patrick's Day, I got a message from a friend of mine who I went to graduate school with, who lives in Toronto. Her name is Adair Roberts. And Adair reached out and said, "I'm so sorry to see what's happening with Luca's businesses. Is there any way I can help? I thought maybe I could buy some meals, but I want to see if there's a way that you could maybe deliver those meals to healthcare workers in this city." And so that's really where the kernel of the idea came from. Adair purchased 40 meals last Thursday, and I asked her if she could please make contact with a healthcare provider in the city. I suggested that she reach out to NYU Langone because we have had some experience. They took care of actually our son when he was an infant and did a wonderful job. So she reached out to NYU Langone, and on Thursday night we delivered 40 piping hot dinners, plates of lasagna, individually wrapped panini and salads. Luke and I drove them down there ourselves, and the staff that came out, you're seeing a picture of them now, that's from the very first delivery last Thursday night. They were so, it was like Luca felt like he was Santa Claus. They were just so grateful. I think they were already so stressed and overworked, and that's become even more the case as time goes on and as the number of illnesses increases, serious illnesses. And they, I think, felt quite isolated themselves. And so having a dinner and knowing that the community is thinking about them was just so amazing for them. And it was also obviously heartwarming for us. And so that is really where Luca, that day called me up and he said, "You know what, this thing that Adair is doing for NYU tonight is maybe something that we could scale." And certainly we knew that more and more healthcare workers are going to be under duress and probably having very little time to nourish themselves. And in fact, I know, because I've spoken with friends of mine or physicians who, when they are battling COVID-19, are obviously wearing a lot of protective gear, which means that they can't even sneak an M&M through all the masks and gear they have, and often are going for hours and hours without any sustenance. So what started last night with 40 meals has now grown to, at the end of today, 1,015 meals that we have now delivered to not just NYU Langone in Manhattan, but also their locations in Brooklyn, and to Columbia Presbyterian, New York Presbyterian, Lenox Northwell, to the Jewish Home for the Elderly. And we're in conversations right now with the Sinai system to try to set up similar deliveries. And they're going primarily to ER departments and ICUs, but also to resident programs, because the residents are very hardworking people who are not paid very well and have enormous debt, as you can imagine. Anyway, all of these folks, whether they're physicians or nurses or other staff who are manning and caring for New Yorkers who are battling this virus, are in need of our support and help, and very grateful to receive it. And I would like to say that, Isabella, none of this would have happened without her and some of her friends, because when this idea came to life, Isabella and her friends went to work immediately, and I can pass the baton to her, and she can explain how feedthefrontlines.nyc.org began.
Yeah, and before you do, for people who are watching right now, you're about to hear from Isabella, a young college student who stepped in with her mother to help the family business. The family business, someone asked, what's the name of those 5 restaurants? And it's called Taraluci e Vino. And you can see the Twitter handle right on the screen there. And the website is Taraluci e Vino. You can find it. Just a wonderful group of 5 restaurants here in New York. Joe Appio says, Kate, this is tremendous. And we have been doing takeout 5 times per week just to do a small part for small business. And I know a lot of people will be doing that right now. I'm so sorry to hear that 95 people, many of them who I met and loved in the times that I have been in and out of your restaurants, so sorry to hear that they have lost their jobs for now. I hope they'll all be able to come back if the government steps in and if all of us pitch in, as we're hearing now. Isabella's about to tell your story. Folks, if you're watching right now on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, please share right now. Please tag your friends. We want to get this as out there as possible to as many people as possible. I do this every single day. And tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, we're going to talk about medical professionals who are not COVID experts and what they're doing. What is happening to all the heart attacks in New York? What is happening to all the appendicitis cases? We'll have a surgeon, we'll have a dentist, and we'll have an eye surgeon to just talk about what it's like to be a sick patient now if you're not affected by COVID, because it's all COVID all the time, rightly so. But what's happening with that? That's tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And you can find my entire catalog of these conversations online very easily. Hope you will take a look and hope you will share it with your friends and family. So now let's go to Isabella, who is going to tell us about how this website, feedthefrontlinesnyc.org, got started. And you can follow along on Feed the Front NYC. And please check out the hashtag we're using, Sree COVID19 call, Sree COVID19 call, as everybody can share and understand what's going on. Thank you. And Isabella, over to you.
Great. And Sree, thank you again for having us this afternoon. So yeah, I mean, you just heard our story from my mother, and really this has been an initiative that's taken off pretty much overnight. And in fact, last Thursday, after we made our first delivery, thanks to the generosity of Adair Roberts and her idea, my friends and I got to work. And I'm so lucky that I've had some incredible, talented friends be willing to help me and my family with this project. So my amazing friend Edith Hurwitz immediately wrote to me and said, can I do anything to help? She helped us build the website overnight, really. And so we got that up and running. You just saw that on your screens. And since then, we've had over 500 payments for meals roll in. And the average payment is under $200. And already today, this is a website that's been up since Saturday, we've reached over $100,000. So that's really all thanks to small payments from all of our amazing friends and loyal customers from Taraluci e Vino. And so we're really, really grateful. But really, this was an effort that just came together overnight because we've been working around the clock as a family, but also just all of our friends have just poured out their support, their time. I think everyone's really anxious and looking for something that they can do from where they're, self-isolating or quarantined. So this has been an amazing team effort. And we're really happy to also say that since we launched the website, my father has been able to bring back 10 of his employees. So that's and that's people, who are working in the kitchen, people who are helping make deliveries around the city, who are, putting their own safety at risk to also help the incredible frontline workers in hospitals who are keeping us all safe. So it's people who are doing deliveries, people in the kitchens. My father's been able to open up a second kitchen on 18th Street as of yesterday. It's been people who are helping to coordinate the deliveries with administrators at hospitals. So already we're seeing the impacts that this initiative is having. And the amazing thing about this is that, we barely even shared the website when we first launched it, but immediately so many generous payments came in. And the word spread really quickly through friends and family and people who heard about us. And since then, we've actually had our friend Adair Roberts start a sister organization in Toronto, and their website actually launched yesterday. It's Feed the Frontlines org. So check them out. Definitely, if you're in Toronto, support your restaurants there. And similarly, the website for the Boston sister organization is going to be up and running very soon. That's going to be Feed the Frontlines BOS.com. So check them out if those are your if those are your cities. Make sure to check them out and help out their amazing restaurants and hospital workers too.
Thank you so much. Congratulations on what you've done. We had a question come in earlier, Kate. Did you start this? Just the fact checking, journalists are watching and they want to get it right. Rose Horowitz is live tweeting at Rose Horowitz 31. And she says, did you start last? Yes. Can you just give us the numbers again? She wants to get it right.
Yes, absolutely. Last Thursday evening, we delivered 40 dinners to the ER staff at NYU Langone on First Avenue. It's 550 First Avenue. And as of this evening, we will have delivered, I think it's 1,015 meals. So yesterday, no, we did 330. Today, we even have a higher number. And one of the things is that's happening, which is, I think, good, is that we are now able to, for example, with NYU Langone and New York Presbyterian, they have been able to schedule, we know that we have to deliver, 50 lunches to X hospital 7 days a week, and 70 dinners to Y hospital 7 days a week. So that is obviously helping with planning and making sure we have enough food and people and delivery people and all that to fill the demand. We could go even higher. And obviously the more meals that people purchase, the more people will bring back into work. And then if we get to capacity, which I'm hoping we will be sharing this with other restaurants, and already we're in contact with other restaurants in New York City that would very much like to participate as well. And just to that point, in case people don't know much about the restaurant business, is that gift cards are fantastic, and people ordering takeout and pickup and delivery, that's just amazing. And please keep doing that. Mm-hmm. In our experience, at least at our Upper West Side location, people have been wonderful and generous and been doing that, but it was still not enough to cover the rents, the lights, the electricity, the gas, and the salaries and wages of our workers. So it's only through scaling that we're going to have a chance to even survive. And the amount that we're requesting right now is to be able to serve free meals across the city for 35 days. That's really what our goal is right now, is to raise $350,000 so that we can continue to serve meals at lunch and at dinner to hospitals around New York City through what is at the present the estimate of how long this may be an acute crisis in New York City. That obviously that estimate is what it is, an estimate, but that's where the math is.
Thank you. And I know we have lots of questions and comments coming in. Just can I ask you, Kate, as somebody who has covered stories, you've been a journalist for ABC News, where do you come down as you hear about opening up the system more? Opening up, New York is now kind of the epicenter in America of this. That balance You can understand why the president is saying we should open up more, but you can also see what is happening every day in our city.
Well, first of all, I think we should be listening to the scientists and the physicians who really understand the epidemiology, who understand how a disease like this, what it actually consists of, and how it spreads and how it makes people ill. So I think those are the people we need to be listening to first and foremost, and we need to be listening to their recommendations about how to keep ourselves, the people we love, and our community safe. So that's primary. And of course, we would love for all the Terra Lucia Vino restaurants to be open, for us to be all sitting outside as spring comes in and having aperitivo every night, and bellying up to the bar with a cappuccino and a cornetto with cream in the morning. Boy, would I love that. But we're not there, and we're not going to get there unless we are really listening to the people who know most about how this disease operates. And it's not I don't think this virus can be bullied. I don't think this virus is listening to misinformation. This virus is just doing its thing, and the people who understand the mechanism most should be the people we're paying attention to.
Thank you, and to hear that from you, who is directly affected by this as a business owner and a small business owner, that really, I think, puts it in perspective, that you understand the larger fight we have here. I'm just going to go to a couple of quick comments from LinkedIn. We're on multiple platforms. If you're watching right now, please hit share or tag your friends so they can join us. Ayan says, hello, love this idea, says Fatima. Andrea says, great story. Sharon's watching from the Philadelphia Tribune newsroom in Center City. Arun is watching from Menlo Park, California. Carrie's watching from St. Pete, Florida, staying in place with our daughters down from New York City. Isolated in the belly of the beast, says Rachel Pereira Weingeist. And Annie Darrow says, Baltimore, at home with our adult son who has autism and mental health challenges with no supports or day program. Very challenging, but we walk our dogs and are grateful to continue to be healthy. Doug says, I'm so sad about the lives being lost to this disease. And hello from Boston, and the president of a French and US company called Thomson Broadcast. And we're thinking of all our European friends, not just in Italy, which has been so decimated by this, but also in France and Spain. The numbers are just really horrific. I'm going to bring Nihal back on screen here so he can again say hello to us. Nihal is part of this Help Main Street effort that we've been talking about at Help Main Street or helpmainstreet.com. Everyone, please share this with your friends and family. Nihal, as you hear this, I know you've been dealing with so many folks directly, but now you're hearing Kate's story and what's happening at their restaurant. What more can we do? What more can people do who have the means to support restaurants? They can go to your site, helpmainstreet.com, and buy those gift cards. They can go to feedthefrontlines.nyc.org and buy and donate so that people can, we can even help the healthcare workers. It's a perfect, what we call a bank shot, right? It does more than one thing. But Nihal, I want to hear your thoughts at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think local businesses are one aspect. We have, I'm looking right now, there was a really interesting website that basically aggregates all of the different projects where we need volunteers. It's helpwithcovid.com. And if you have
helpwithcovid.com, okay?
That's right. And it's essentially COVID-19 projects that are looking for volunteers. So you can actually create a project. And of course, you can sign up to volunteer on any existing project. A lot of them are, just to read out a few of these incredible projects, somebody wants help to, obviously to get more ventilators to New York City. Some folks are trying to, produce, actually ventilators are a big request right now on this site.
Sorry, can you give us the address again? I just want to get it absolutely right because there's so much misinformation. We want to.
Oh yeah, it's helpwithcovid.com.
Okay, perfect. Got it. Thank you. I'll share it on the screen with everybody right now.
Yeah, and it's just an open source way for if people want to volunteer, you have some free time at home, you can jump onto any of these projects. And of course, if you have an initiative, you can create a project. But I think we're seeing in these times just incredible generosity of people just giving their expertise and their resources to a variety of different projects. Like I said, this Help Main Street was just, a handful of volunteers that pulled a couple all-nighters, but I feel like we're all so capable, and actually a lot more than we were in the 1918, Spanish flu times, right? We're all connected. And a lot of them have like incredible digital assets that we can donate as resources, right? Which is our time, of course, our money in specific ways, but really just organizing and getting projects online and executing very quickly. So I think it's a really interesting time. This is also why I'm very optimistic that, we're going to become a lot stronger through this and get past this very quickly. Probably still going to take a few months, but I think a lot of the measures are working, right? I don't know if the best hour of the day is Governor Cuomo's 11 a.m. press.
Amazing,
right?
Amazing. Wish he was president. I feel calmer after listening to him, and he's so generous with his praise. And doesn't exaggerate. It's real. It's human. Amazing.
It's a real lesson in leadership, and he's so transparent. And everything he says, by the way, is seeding like other entrepreneurs. Like, if he needs something, all of a sudden there's little groups working on it because he's very transparent about where we are every single day. But one thing from this morning that was encouraging is the social distancing seems to be working, right? Where the cases are doubling in the hospital. I think it was first 2 days. Now, yesterday was 3. Now it's 4 days, right? And so we're starting to see some trend lines that a lot of the actions we're taking are working. So, it's a fascinating time to be alive. But unlike 100 years ago, we're incredibly more resourceful as a human species. And even Sree just bringing us together and having folks watch this and share this, is amazing. So, thanks also for your leadership and for having us on today.
Well, thank you so much. We're putting up the contact information so everybody can see it. Helpmainstreet.com, feedthefrontlinesnyc.org, helpwithcovid.com, and I will tweet these out as well. Nihal, before you go, we were talking about restaurants, we're talking about food. There are all kinds of other industries also that I will be discussing. But I want to ask you if you ever had a chance to eat Floyd Cardoz's cooking at any of his restaurants. At Tabla or Bread Bar or any of those places, yeah.
Of course, yeah. I think that was a huge loss to the community today. Certainly the Indian American community and of course the hospitality community. But he
employed so many people as a restaurateur.
Employed and inspired so many people. Yeah, one of our dear friends, Anu Dougal, who is the founder of Female Founders Fund, actually worked in his kitchen at Tabla and actually learned a lot from him. And she was crushed this morning. As are we all. But it's becoming real, right? This disease is becoming real through these. Through these horrible events, and it was tragic. So it's definitely a sad day.
Thank you, Nihal. I'll just share some of the comments. Danny Meyer says, "Love you so much, Floyd Cardoz." From David Chang, who hosted Ugly Delicious season 2 with Floyd, he says, "I don't want to believe this." I think a lot of us were like that this morning. My friend Amit, who lives in India, says, "Unbelievable and sad. Had dinner with his restaurant at his restaurant just 11 months ago in New York City. This is gut-wrenching." From Pradnya says, "Tabla was a revelation to so many of us back in the day. Here's the recipe for Floyd's legendary cocktail from Tabla." I remember that. Vishal Mishra, who founded Cricinfo, he says, "We loved his restaurants in New York City. Once we were waiting for a table for a long time, so he came and personally prepared and served appetizers for the kids to keep them happy. He then autographed his book and gave it to us. A genuinely nice guy." Just hearing this, reminds me of Kate's husband and Isabella's dad, Luca, that restaurateurs are people we love because they serve us food and they keep us nourished, but they also are, if you go often enough, they feel like family. And I know Luca treats his employees and his customers the same way. Lisa Feng, who founded Culture Monster, the giant Los Angeles Times franchise, she says, so sad, he was only 59. I always love going to Tabla. And she lives in LA. So that tells you about this restaurant and what impact it had. Aparna Mukherjee says, I'm shocked as well. My go-to spot for any special occasion back in the New York City day. I'm so very sad and very sorry. I want to read 2 comments from 2 of the biggest Indian chefs in New York who worked with Floyd and, competed in a sense because, there are only that many fancy Indian restaurants people can go to. Surbhi Sani and her husband Hemant Mathur, who run multiple great restaurants, Michelin star chef, said, I'm out doing deliveries today to folks that need food, so I can't join you, but I'm seriously devastated. He's one of the first chefs I heard of when I got to New York City and wanted to work with him, which I didn't, but I've ended up breaking bread with him at several events, and it's a truly sad day for both me and my husband, Hemant. There is just a few of us doing work around Indian food like this quality, and he was one of the first to bring any sort of limelight to Indian food. Beside that, he was a wonderful human being, and as the chef community, he will be remembered fondly. He has inspired so many and will continue to doing so for many years. And one more comment from Awad, from Gaurav Anand, the founder of Awad on the Upper West Side, and Moti Mahal Deluxe and other restaurants. Tabla was one of the first Indian restaurants I ever ate at in New York City. I remember the meal like it was yesterday, life-changing. He inspired me. He was an inspiration to me and so many others to bring Indian food to the global map. He'll be sorely missed and will remain a legend forever. We're saluting the awesome Floyd Cardoz, who happened to be sick and die reportedly from COVID-19. He was in India. He came here. This shows you the global nature of this. And this is why I'm so upset when I hear, let's open up the social distancing. Let's just make this, some certain sections of the country are less vulnerable. It is not true. Every doctor, and you have to know this, folks, if you're watching right now, that Axios reported that there's not a single physician on the inside team that Trump consults on this. Yes, there is a COVID-19 task force, but the people who he talks to every night when he talks by him, when he's by himself and he picks up the phone, they're all business people. They're not doctors. And so when he says social distancing can be finished by April because it sounds so good, you heard that. He said it was on Easter because it would be beautiful. Of course it would be beautiful. We would be so happy to not be locked up, to help all of these wonderful businesses like Kate and Isabella's and everybody else's. But we need to all pull together for our country and the world, right? This is the time when we all have to be together. I'm going to give each of you a final comment and let you go and just thank you so much for your time. Let me start with Kate and Isabella, and then we'll go to Nihal. Please go ahead. Each of you, please say something. And Nihal, while you were off camera, we said, we want to have a bake-off. What is harder, managing a 5-year-old and a 3-month-old, or a 17-year-old and a 20-something-year-old? So we'll have that discussion. Go ahead, please.
Well, anyway, I just thank you again, Sree, for having us on today. And I would just say that, the support that we've had already has been incredible. And I just say that if you want to support your local healthcare workers here in New York City, and you care about supporting people in the restaurant industry, please check out our website. It's feedthefrontlinesnyc.org, and look out for other places doing the same sort of work in your own local communities. So thank you, and keep up the great work to everyone who's helping out in this effort.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Isabella. And over to you, Kate.
I would just add, stay home, order in delivery, or if you need that evening walk when you've been cooped up all day, order and pick up from your favorite local restaurant. And if you want to do something with Spider-Man. Spidey. Wow, awesome.
And actually me, a kid.
Oh, you're a kid. You're not Spider-Man? I thought you were a kid. I thought you were Spider-Man. By the way, Kate, you remember the global fun everybody had when the BBC interview, the expert was talking, the kid came in.
Yes, the
Every day
kid
this
came
now
paddling
happens.
in on the walker.
Right?
Yeah,
We're so used to it. Nobody's mocking that anymore. We love this. Hi, who is this? Will you introduce him now?
This is Sean.
Hi, Sean.
Actually, this is Spider-Man.
Oh, Spider-Man. Peter Parker. Come on.
Peter Parker's right.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And Nihal, does Sean know that there's a fabulous Hindi movie called Sean with Amitabh Bachchan and Shashi Kapoor? Maybe you show him the title cards. At least people love that.
His mom definitely does. I think that was part of the inspiration of his name.
Everybody can watch that. If you're feeling like, you after listening to all this about food and you would think of Indian food and Floyd, you can, it turns out that Amazon Prime Video has a whole bunch of the greatest hits of Indian cinema in popular movies like Sholay and Shan are on Amazon Prime Video. And of course, Netflix is a whole Indian section that everybody can check out. So Nihal, thank you for letting him see us for a minute. Let's get back to Kate and then we'll come back to you.
Oh, it's hard to top that. We needed that. Thank you, Sean, Peter Parker, Spider-Man. So I guess the last thing I would say is just thank you to everyone who has purchased meals already on at Feed the Frontlines NYC.org, and thank you to everybody who's figuring out ways to help their local communities, and we can get through this together. We may be physically distant, but we need to be socially connected, and Sree, you're making that happen, and we can make that happen in other ways as well through efforts like Help Main Street and Feed the Frontlines NYC.org. So thank you.
Thank you both. And I just want to say how wonderful it is. Everyone I've asked to join us has said yes. The editor-in-chief of the Wall Street Journal, Matt Murray, is going to join us in the next few days. The head of Richard Edelman, the head of Edelman Worldwide, is going to talk to us about trust at these times. We are everyone's coming together. Everyone's doing all they can. And I'm so grateful to Feed the Frontlines NYC.org. And I love seeing both of you together and the families getting to do something together. Nihal said nervous energy. We need a direction for it for a lot of us. In your case, it's directly about your employees and feeding them. And I'm thinking of every small business in America. All the talk is often about big business and Wall Street, but let's not forget Main Street. And that's what we are talking about today. Thank you so much, Kate and Isabella. I'll let you get back. You've got a lot of ordering. You've got to help fulfill those orders. And thank you to Isabella's classmates as well. So we'll say goodbye to you guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. And let's get back to Nihal, helpingmainstreet.com, helpmainstreet.com, helpmainstreet.com. Your final thoughts before we let you go.
Great work, Kate and Isabella on Feed the Front Line. Incredible story, and just another act of generosity. I think in this time, I think everybody should channel their nervous anxiety and try to do something. And if you want to get inspired, again, you can find sites like helpwithcovid.com. You can also, obviously with Main Street, you can donate to your, favorite local business, but there's so many other ways that you can contribute. I think, everybody needs to vent and talk about it, but turn off CNN, maybe watch Cuomo's press conference like once a day. That's what we do. But otherwise there's zero upside. You're going to get more and more anxious and more upset. And that's not a good way to channel your energy. Instead, try to channel your energy into doing things productively that can help, our society, our species, come out of this.
Nihal, look at this. Steve Taylor says, wow, this is amazing. I put in my zip code in Philly, and it's fantastic to see all the local businesses, but people can do more, right?
Yep.
They can add businesses that are not there, not just restaurants, any kind of business. And then Alicia asked for Michigan, how do I replicate this website in my area? But she doesn't need to, right? She can, by just adding into it, it becomes her website, right? Because her businesses are there. Can you just explain that very quickly?
Sure. You can just click the button, don't see your favorite business, and fill out a very easy form. And we try to get these venues up, the new businesses up in under 48 hours. So there's this black button right on.
Yeah, we see it right there. Yeah.
Another question came in. What would it take to replicate this website in your area? We're national, so you don't need to replicate it. Just add venues. merchants to the page, and you're live. You're live in your area. We actually did something with the mayor's office in Hoboken, where we can give any city a unique URL. And so we gave them a Hoboken URL. And so when you land on the page, it just shows Hoboken venues. And so we're happy to do that in any city or state, across the country and eventually globally.
Wow, that's an amazing offer. Thank you for doing that. People just need to see sometimes what they're familiar with. So I think that's what you're saying. So anybody watching right now, live or recorded, if you have connections to very senior government officials, talk to them at your level, your municipal level or state. We're going to be talking later, Nihal, to the Secretary of State of Georgia in one of these days. And so when he comes on, we can pass on that information to him as well. I think that'll be great to have that. So just thank you so much, Nihal. I'll let you go. I know you have lots of work to do and kids to take care of. We've flashed on the screen at Nihal Mehta. Nihal is, apart from this is his volunteer work, folks, just so you understand. He's one of the most influential entrepreneurs and supporters of entrepreneurs in New York, has been a friend of mine for 20 plus years. Back in the day, Nihal, we were the young guns in the city, and then here we are with kids, and I don't know what happened, but here we are. And I just want to say thank you, and air hugs to you and to Reshma and your beautiful children.
Thank you, Sree. Same to you. And we're going to get through this. Stay strong. And thanks again for having me.
Thank you and goodbye. And that was Nihal Mehta, at Nihal Mehta, talking about helpmainstreet.com, folks. I'm going to wrap up here. It's been quite the conversation. I have been so struck by everything that's going on, just to hear all of you. Thank you for being here. Mark says, great call. All the schools, Chinzia says, all the schools, even my high school, locked down and we're doing remote lessons. I hope you and your family are okay. Mark's comment, I love this, from Durham, North Carolina. I want to see Vimala and Sitar are delivering. I'm hungry, and they're both great Indian restaurants. Yes, and do a toast to Floyd Cardoz when you do that. Chindia says, a great job and amazing contributors. And Mark says he's going to talk to the Durham mayor. He's a friend. So right there, we have this kind of impact. Chinzia says, I hope this nightmare will end soon. We've been a month in lockdown in Milan. And so just as we wrap up here, I want to thank everybody for coming on to the show, being here with us. This has been uplifting for me, helpful for me, and I'm just so grateful. The day started with the news that Prince Charles is ill with the coronavirus, the COVID-19, and then an hour later, I had the opportunity to interview on my weekly show with Hong Kong University, the provost of Hong Kong University, and a great economist, Richard Wong. You can find that on my feeds, and he talked about the impact in Hong Kong and beyond on the economic crisis. He had some advice for President Trump, especially about that social distancing. Keep it up. Why? Because in Hong Kong, the second wave is already here. The second wave, and that's what nobody's talking about when they're talking with the president, those who are encouraging him to do this. None of them are doctors. Remember that, folks. It's really important. And then I heard that Floyd Cardoz, wonderful dear Floyd Cardoz, great restaurateur from Mumbai, who ran Tabla and Bread Bar and O Canteen and Pawwala, he has sadly passed away, reportedly because of COVID-19. I was asked to be on Indian television in the middle of all this, and I'll tell you what I said to them, that he changed not only the Indian food scene, but the American food scene by showing high quality, expensive Indian food, that there's a market for that. And what a wonderful guy. I'm going to show you once again his photograph so that you can see him, and the social media event that he and I were working on. You make plans and you say you'll do things, and then you kind of forget, you move on. I saw him that day at the Bombay Shirt Company, which I work with, and he was there. We took this photo. We said we're going to do social media and food, and I said, who is in? And he responded right away that he was in, that he was going to participate. He said so in person, but because it counts more on the internet. If you see it there, you can see I've highlighted on the screen. He said, we're in, and he was going to help with that. And then, life happens, you forget. Please hug your friends. Please air hug your friends. Please call them. Anyone in your life who's meaningful to you, make a list, go down the list, call them, FaceTime them, whatever it takes. A hello message, that's all that matters. I also heard that one of my friends here in New York, dear friend of 25 plus years, has COVID. He's okay, but he got tested. It took him 8 days to hear the results. So outrageous how long it's taking. We need to test more. We're not out of the woods by any means. And here we have the president saying all kinds of things. Let's see, the Jeremiah Moss has been running a virtual cash mob for local mom and pops in New York City. That's terrific. Enjoy the show. See you tomorrow, says Jonathan. Thank you, Jonathan. 2 p.m. tomorrow, we're going to talk to a bunch of doctors. So please join us. Jigar Mehta says another powerful, wonderful show. Thank you, Jigar. I got to talk to your staff in a conference call, video Zoom call. I'm happy to do that with anybody who's listening because this is what I can do. I'm teaching remotely to my class at Stony Brook University. I'm saving 12 hours of commuting time. I'm spending that in things like this. And I want to be so grateful to my wife and my children for letting me do this, for staying out of the shot right now while all of this is going on. And thank you very much, everybody. Please take care. Please take care of your families. Please stay safe wherever you are in the world. I am very, very grateful. I'm Sree at Sree.net on email, at Sree on Twitter, at SreeNet on Instagram. And please find me on YouTube. I am working on my YouTube and would love to have more people follow by subscribing to me there. It's SreeNet is my handle on YouTube, so you can find me there very easily. And we thank you very much for joining us and for sharing and participating. And I see a note from my friend Minda, who says, great to see you. Great column fodder for Inc.com. Look out for a piece or two. Thank you very much. And if we can help you in any way, anybody watching this wants to learn how to do this, how you can be live on 5 different platforms, contact us. My friend Stefan Kaplan is watching. He did an amazing show about virtual collaboration. Invite us to come talk to your organization, or better still, hire us to turn your corporations, events, or companies, conventions online. We'll do it. I just did Social Media Weekend. In 10 days, we turned it from a 300-person in-person event in New York at Pace University to a virtual event on Saturday. Huge raves for that, and it went very well. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Stefan. Thank you, Jigar. Thanks for everybody who watched. I'll see you soon. Thank you very much.